Hello all, I am the Holland Phantom, and for today's video, we're going to be having a first look at the next generation of Pokemon cards introduced in Scarlet and Violet by having a live battle from the Scarlet and Violet Build and Battle sets. But before we begin, please be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, as we are very close to reaching 500 subscribers and we're aiming to hit that number before the end of the month. So please subscribe if you haven't already done so, it would really help us out. Okay, so let's get into a little of the Build and Battle structure. It consists of opening 4 booster packs of the newest set, so in this case Scarlet and Violet, and also getting a pre-constructed deck that can be modified using any of the cards that were gotten from the booster packs. Then each player builds a 40 card deck instead of the usual 60 card deck, and will play with only 4 prizes instead of the usual 6. And finally, the rule of 4 does not apply in the Build and Battle format, meaning that a player is not limited to only 4 copies per card in a deck, and can use any number they want. And now that we're caught up with the rules, let's take a look at the Pokemon. On one side, we've got the Dondozo and Tatsugiri deck, going up against the Quaquaval deck on the other side, so we'll see which of these two decks can take the victory today. Now let's get into the battle. And here we go, the battle is started, with both players flipping over their starting Pokemon. On the Dondozo side, we've got Tatsugiri as the active Pokemon, with a Cyclizar and a Dondozo on the bench, and on the Quaquaval side, we've got Quaxly as the active Pokemon. The Quaquaval side is going first, benching a second Quaxly, and then activating the Stadium Messagoza, flipping a coin which lands heads, and then letting the player search their deck for any Pokemon to add to their hand. And the one chosen is going to be a Quaxwell to add to their hand. So we're going to be seeing an evolution coming down in the following turn. Next, the player activates a Pokeball, once again flipping a coin, and this time it's Tails, so it fails. Otherwise, it would have had the exact same ability as Messagoza. The player attaches a water energy to their Quaxly and then passes the turn. And now, let's see what the Dondozo side can do. They're also going to be activating Messagoza, flipping a coin. And they get Tails! So they're not going to be able to search their deck for a Pokemon. Oh, but they also have their own Pokeball, flipping another coin. There's the coin flip, and that one is heads! They pick up the deck to search for any Pokemon they want to add to their hand. And the one chosen is going to be Varoom, a basic Pokemon coming down onto the bench. It's going to be the main draw engine of the deck once it evolves. Next, the supporter is going to be Jacques, letting the players search their deck for up to 2 evolutions to add to their hand. So we see actually 2 Revavroom coming into the hand. So we're going to be seeing the Varoom evolving on the following turn. A water energy comes down into the active Tatsugiri. And there's the attack, Mise en Place, letting the player search their deck for up to 2 basic water energies to attach to one of their Pokemon. So both of the energy come down onto the bench Dondozo. And the turn is going to pass over to the Quaquaval side. Okay, the player draws their card. And there's the evolution coming down, Quaxwell. Actually, 2 of them! 2 Quaxwell come down into play. And the player activates the effective Messagoza, flipping a coin, and gets another heads, searching the deck for another Pokemon to add to their hand. And there's Quaquaval. It's going to be the main Pokemon of this deck, coming down into play on the following turn. Any other cards coming down? Here we see a second water energy coming down into Quaxwell. And there's the attack, Rain Splash, hitting Tatsugiri for 20 damage. Turn passes back over to the Dondozo side. Let's see what they can do. Varoom evolves into Revavroom. And the player uses the Stadium of Messagoza, but they get another Tails! Not getting a whole lot of good luck from these coin flips. A Zangoose comes down onto their bench. And a water energy comes down to the Zangoose. Finally, Revavroom activates its ability, discarding a water energy, and then letting the player draw cards from their deck until they have 6 cards in hand. The supporter is going to be Arvin, letting the player search their deck for an item card and a tool card. The item is a Nest Ball, and actually that's going to be it. There are no tools in this deck. And now Nest Ball is immediately played, searching the deck for any basic Pokemon to put onto their bench. And the one chosen is going to be a second Varoom. So now we've got the main attacker on the bench, the Dondozo, and the main draw engine, which is going to be the Revavroom. And finally, Tatsugiri attacks, with its curl-up attack hitting for 30 damage and returning itself back to the player's hand. The player promotes Cyclizar and turn passes over to the Quaquaval side. And there we see Quaquaval finally coming into play, evolving from the benched Quaxwell. And there's a third energy attachment coming onto it. Next, the player activates the effect of Messagoza, but this time they get Tails. They will not be able to search their deck this turn. Any more cards coming down for this side? Yeah, we do see a Squawkabilly coming down onto the bench. And there's the attack. Hydro Kick, hitting for 140 damage. And the Quaquaval takes the first prize of the game. Zangoose comes up as a new active Pokemon for the Dondozo side. The player activates Messagoza, and there's a coin flip. Tails. It's 3 Tails in a row for Messagoza. The bench of our room evolves into another Rev-Up room. And a third Water Energy comes down onto Dondozo. Next, the player activates an Ultra Ball, discarding 2 cards from their hand, a Tatsugiri and a Water Energy to search their deck for any Pokemon to add to their hand. They're going to be choosing another Tatsugiri to bring into the hand. And the main strategy of this deck is to get as many Tatsugiri in the discard pile as possible to increase the attack power of Dondozo with its Release Rage attack. One of the Rev-Up rooms activates its Rumbling Engine ability, discarding a Water Energy to draw until they have 6 cards in hand. There's the cards being drawn. And next, the player activates Professor's Research, discard their entire hand. Oh, it looks like that was 3 more Tatsugiri, for a total of 4 Tatsugiri in the discard pile. Each one increases the attack power of Dondozo's attack by 50, meaning that it's not going to be hitting for 200 damage with its Release Rage attack. Zangoose is going to be retreating to promote Dondozo, and with all that attack power coming through, they're going to be able to take a one-hit KO against anything they want. Another Ultra Ball is played, and the player discards a 5th Tatsugiri. Wow, it's going to increase the attack power to 250. And like I said earlier, in the build and battle format, you're not limited to 4 copies of a card. Okay, looks like they failed to search, no Pokemon were added. They just wanted to get the Tatsugiri into the discard pile. So I believe that was a total of 5 Tatsugiri. Yeah, there we see 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's all 5 of them. Release Rage is going to be hitting for 250 damage. And there's the attack. Taking an easy one-hit KO against Quaquaval. And Dondozo takes their first prize. Both sides are tied at 3 prizes remaining apiece. Squawkabilly comes up as a new active Pokemon for the Quaquaval side, and the player activates Messagoza. It is a heads this time, searching the deck for... Let's see what they're going to be choosing. A second Quaquaval coming down. Are they going to be using its ability this turn? Yes, they are. Activating the ability Energy Carnival, accelerating a Water Energy onto the Squawkabilly, and there's the manual attachment, fully powering it up to use its Fly attack. There's the attack declared, hitting for 60 damage, and there's a coin flip. If it lands heads, Squawkabilly cannot be attacked the following turn. Oh, but it was tails, so it will be getting knocked out. It looked like the player was trying to stall out the Dondozo side with its Fly attack, but it did not work. A second Dondozo comes down just in case the active one gets knocked out. And there's the attack, another Release Rage attack hitting for another 250 damage, and taking a second prize. Quaquaval comes up as a new active Pokemon, and the player activates the supporter Youngster, shuffling away their hand to draw 5 new cards from their deck. They're really going to be needing a miracle out of these 5 new cards, as they have no other Pokemon and no energy in play. Let's see what they got. Okay, another Quaxley and an Indeedee come down onto the bench. The player also activates Messagoza, and it's another heads. Searching the deck for another Pokemon. It's going to be another Quaxwell to evolve the bench Quaxley next turn, as this active Quaquaval will be getting knocked out unless it gets out of the active spot this turn. It activates Energy Carnival, attaching a Water Energy onto the bench Pokemon, and a second one also comes down to Quaxley. And that's it, they're going to be sacrificing this Quaquaval. On the Dondozo side, the bench Dondozo gets its second energy, and there's the attack. Another Release Rage attack, taking another one-hit KO. And now Dondozo is down to just 1 more prize. So even if this active one gets knocked out, they have a backup one on the bench. So it looks like the battle's already been decided. Quaxley is just going to go down swinging as much as it can. The Mesagoza did fail this turn, but it does evolve into Quaquaval. Do they have a third energy for the attack? No, they don't. They only have 2 energies, so they can only hit for 20 damage with Rain Splash, and that's going to be the game. Dondozo draws her final card and just going straight for the attack. Release Rage to take the final KO. And there's the handshake. Dondozo is your winner. So what did you guys think of that battle? Let me know down in the comments below. And be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video to help this channel grow and reach new viewers. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, this is the Holland Phantom logging out.